We're owed reparations.
Were you a slave?
No, but my ancestors were supposed to receive 40 acres and a mule, and that wealth would have been passed down to me.
I have some slave blood in me.
You have to come from 2 black parents that lineage traces back to slavery. Black guys need to stop hanging themselves. Blacks don't hang ourselves. That wouldn't even be the last way that we would kill ourselves if we did such a heinous act.
Black people play the race card?
Me and my people survive in a white superpower supremacist racist system.
Racism really doesn't exist anymore. It's really rich versus poor.
But you support Donald Trump and he's a rich racist. So anyone that says that is a racist trying to set me up like Hansel and Gretel.
Trump did more for blacks than Obama.
I'm a smart one, and Trump is a racist that did more damage to blacks than any other president in present day. And anyone that tries to protect a racist is a racist.
Look, Donald Trump isn't a racist. He had a black girlfriend.
He had a bed wench.
We work at the same company, so you have a good career job. You're not like the rest.
Modern Jim Crow oppression still most definitely exists for me and my people.
I'm just saying you never picked cotton.
Survivors of the Oklahoma massacre lived to be over 100 years old and didn't receive reparations. They were directly affected by it, so you are a racist and a hypocrite.
Say it again!
You heard me.
Then hear this! Stay down.
I see I can't be fair with a racist. Stay the fuck away from me and my people.
United States voting against reparations for black people should be a huge wake-up call for our people. We live in a racist country controlled by a racist government.
Yeah, I ain't never owned no slaves, or even know anybody who did. You or anybody alive today has never been a slave. Paying reparations is stupid as hell. Stop using the victim mentality and looking for handouts for something you never were and don't deserve.
Black folks, let me tell you this. We're in a really, really bad situation. Because the Trump administration is relentless in its targeting of us and our progress. It is really bad. I've never seen it this bad in my lifetime. They are rolling back very precious rights that we need, not only to progress, but even to just survive. The Trump administration has unleashed the most anti-black, anti-civil rights agenda in the last 100 years. And here's the thing that just kicks you in the stomach. While he's doing that, while he is taking the country back to Jim Crow, you got these dumb celebrities who are coming out expressing their undying love for him. As he targets our community, they are celebrating him. They're expressing their undying commitment and fidelity to him as he destroys our community. You cannot be a worse sellout than that. Now, it smacks to me, it feels to me like what our ancestors dealt with during literal Jim Crow. Now, of course, we're not nowhere near the conditions that they lived during Jim Crow. But this administration is trying to take us back to that era. Make America great again. So when was America great again in their minds? When black people were in their place and knew that they were in their place. That's where they're trying to take us back. So the latest example of that is this recent executive order that Trump released regarding federal contracting. This will affect black businesses, and this will affect many black employees who work at these major corporations. So this will affect millions of black people. It will increase black unemployment. It will, once again, erase a lot of black wealth for certain. So let's get into this. This is not good news. Unfortunately, because I understand what they're doing, when I come to you, quite often it is not with good news. But we must be informed to fight. The Bible says God's people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. It is a part of my responsibility to bring you that knowledge. Let's go to this other screen here, addressing DEI discrimination by federal contractors. Now, let me say this. You've heard it said quite often that DEI only benefited or mostly benefited white women. I've tried to explain so many times that that is misleading. Yes, when you look at the number of people who have benefited from DEI programs, white women will be probably the largest number. But that is because white women outnumber black people in this country. So there are more white women in this country than there are black people. So any programs to benefit minorities, females, and so on, of course, is going to have a lot of white women. So it doesn't mean anything to say that DEI mainly benefited white women. Here's the issue. This is what you need to keep your mind on. Trump is using anti-DEI programs to target black people, not those white women. The unemployment rate since Trump has been back in office for black people has increased sharply. At the same time, it has remained steady for white women because he's not targeting them. He's using anti-DEI programs to target us. Consequently, unemployment rate for blacks has increased under him. I mean, in just the last 3 or 4 months, black men have lost over 500,000 jobs because of Trump's anti-DEI program. And that is on top of a 1.8 million black job deficit that we're dealing with. And on top of that, Trump does this anti-DEI stuff, which just adds to the number of people in the black community who are unemployed. And the video that I just recently did says that has resulted in 2025 in an $87 billion job loss or income loss deficit in our community. It is bad. It is horrible. And it does not impact white women. So stop saying that. That's not the way to look at this. He's using his anti-DEI agenda to target black people, not white women. All right, so let's get into this particular executive order that he released March 26. He released it. Here it is. Here's the date. March 26. This is going to affect millions of black employees. Now, let me show you why I say that and why that's true. So, what is this executive order? The title again, Addressing DEI Discrimination by Federal Contractors. Signed March 26, 2026. It's based on legal authority from the Federal Property and Administrative Services Act, a property management law, not a civil rights law. So he's not just weaponizing civil rights laws against us. He's weaponizing non-civil rights laws against blacks. So what it does in one sentence, every company that does business with the federal government must certify they have no DEI activities and face fraud charges if they do. Now, once again, don't think, well, that's just going to affect white women. No. No. That's a lie. That's misleading. This is going to affect black people as it has already over the last 1 year of Trump's Project 2025 agenda. It hasn't affected white women at all. Look, go back, watch my videos, do your own research. Go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, get their data on employment, and you will see that white women's unemployment rate has remained low and consistent over the last year. It is black people who are losing jobs because of these kinds of executive orders. Don't let people mislead you with that stupidity. They don't know what they're talking about. And that's the problem in our community. Too many of our people listen to these content creators or rappers, entertainers, who don't know what they're talking about. So anyway, who does this executive order cover? Listen at this. If you work in any of these industries, this executive order puts a bullseye on you as a black person. This covers any company with a federal contract spanning defense, healthcare, technology, and construction, affecting millions of American workers. So how do they define DEI? Watch this, read the fine print. Here's the exact language from the executive order. Racially discriminatory DEI activities. Here's how they define DEI activities. It means disparate treatment based on race. Disparate treatment meaning doing or focusing on people based on race, ethnicity in areas such as recruitment, employment, contracting, program participation, or allocation of an entity's resource. So if a company, let's say, developed a program because it wants to increase the number and percentage of African-American employees because they know that African-American employees, for example, is very loyal to them. They get a lot of black customers, thus a lot of black dollars. And so they want to encourage that. They want to show their appreciation. So they develop a program to either recruit, to train, to help black employees, including black businesses. But this executive order says you better not do anything to increase black participation in any way, or we're going to come at you. That's how anti-black this is. So if you got a business idea, you got a product, you got a service that you want to share with some particular company that has a federal contract, this would cover them. If you have a nonprofit and you're trying to do some things, for example, in your community, and you would like to get some grants, some funding from that company, this would cover that. What program participation covers? Listen at this: training, mentoring, or leadership development programs, educational opportunities, clubs, associations, or similar opportunities. Any of those sorts of things, if they wanted to mentor your company, if they wanted to bring you in and put you in a program for 6 months or so that you can learn how to, say, meet their standards so that you can become one of their suppliers or something. None of that. This covers all of that. This prohibits all of that. So why this matters? Because a mentorship program for black employees at a federal contractor can now be classified as racially discriminatory DEI activity, exposing that company to contract cancellation and fraud liability. Those are the consequences to the companies that try to develop black employees or promote black employees or recruit black employees and or businesses.
If we can't harass and murder them, then we can't do our job. We need to keep them on the defense.
Anytime they call out our racism, we say they're racist for doing it. Works every time.
Calls for the resignation of county officials in southeastern Oklahoma continue today after they were secretly recorded making racist remarks, including comments about killing reporters and lynching black residents. One county commissioner has already stepped down. Stephanie Sy has the story.
Jeff, the recording was obtained by a local newspaper, the McCurtain Gazette-News. A reporter who has spent months investigating corruption at the sheriff's office left an audio recorder in the room after a county commissioner's meeting ended, suspecting the sheriff, the commissioner, and others would continue to conduct business. Instead, he apparently captured a recording of top county officials allegedly discussing wanting to kill a McCurtain Gazette reporter, while waxing nostalgic about the days when a sheriff could take a, quote, black guy, throw him in a cell, and beat him. We're going to play a snippet of the recording where the suggestions of murder continue in, we should warn you, graphic detail.
I know. We'll take them down here on Mud Creek and hang them up with the damn rope. Yeah. But you can't do that. The thing about it is, they got more rights than we got. I know where two big deep holes are if you ever need them. I got an excavator. These are our free dug. Yeah, but the thing of it is, you know,
we actually told the truth.
I've known 2 or 3 hitmen that are very quiet guys.
All right, what are you two doing out here?
All right.
And what's in the bag?
Sitting in the park, man. We're not bothering anybody.
Yeah, well, I asked what's in the bag. Go ahead and tell me.
That's not your business.
It is. Now, you see this taser in one hand, cuffs in the other? Last chance. Give me the bag. You're going to jail.
You haven't done anything.
You can't just sit here, hand it over right now, or both of you are under arrest.
Protesters disrupted a news conference this afternoon looking for answers in the death of a young man found hanging from a tree in Palmdale. CBS 2's Rachel Kim is there live tonight with the very latest. Rachel.
Yeah, Jeff, a large group of people came here to Palmdale City Hall to attend that news conference regarding the death of 24-year-old Robert Fuller. You can see behind me that some of those folks remain here where Fuller's body was found. There is now a makeshift memorial there for him. Here's what we know so far about this case. The LA County Sheriff's Department said on June 10th around 3:40 a.m., a passerby saw Fuller hanging from a tree along 9th Street East, right across from City Hall. Sheriff's homicide investigators and the coroner's office responded to the scene, and the sheriff's department says although the investigation is ongoing and a full autopsy is expected, it appears Fuller committed suicide. Now, Fuller's family and community members, however, refute the preliminary suicide finding. They believe this was a homicide, some calling it a hate crime, some even calling it a lynching. They said they wanted justice and answers. And during this meeting, the crowd let city officials and investigators know exactly how they felt.
Although the investigation is ongoing, it appears that Mr. Fuller has tragically died by suicide. A full autopsy.
He's trying to give you the coroner's initial impression.
So why would you put out a public statement saying that it was possible suicide if you don't have all the answers?
Sir, let me see your ID.
What?
Identification now.
I'm just getting coffee like everyone else here.
Step outside with me.
What? I'm not doing anything.
Turn around.
Hey, easy? What are you doing? Hey, easy.
Tonight, we're learning nearly half of Antioch's police department is involved in the racist and homophobic text chains that have rocked the community. And the fallout is now escalating, with the Contra Costa County Public Defender's Office demanding the district attorney drop every single pending case brought by Antioch police. NBC Barry's Stephanie Magallon joins us in the newsroom with the latest.
Jess, the situation is escalating. When we first learned about the FBI investigation, we knew at least 17 officers were involved. That number rose to 24, and now 45 officers, according to the County Public Defender's Office, and all of their cases are now in question. With every new racist text unearthed, an officer identified, the fear and outrage grows.
It frightens the community to know that the people that are charged with protecting them, the people who are funded by their tax dollars, feel a certain way about them, are joking about committing violence against them.
In a new letter to the Contra Costa County District Attorney, Public Defender Ellen McDonald reveals there's now at least 45 Antioch officers on text chains they call racist, homophobic, and violent against Black people. McDonnell also confirms at least 16 of those officers are in leadership roles.
The number of officers involved is so deeply concerning. It raises questions about how this went on for so long, who was complicit, what was the impact on all of not just the cases, but the people who called for help.
Tonight, the Council on American Islamic Relations, San Francisco Bay Area, condemned the recent revelations. Its executive director says she's afraid of reading the messages and the effect they would have on her. Messages like these, exchanged during a stakeout for 4 murder suspects. Officer Eric Rumbaugh texted, "So many Black people." Officer Jonathan Adams replied, "Bro, they all look the same." Rumbaugh responded, "Tell me about it. I feel like I'm at the zoo."
There are people who are sitting behind bars based on the testimony of these officers who are now proven to be incredibly discredited, racist, bigots, acting under the cover of law.
She's not alone in questioning their cases. In the letter from McDonnell, he requests the DA immediately dismiss all pending public defender cases involving Antioch PD, release their incarcerated clients, and cease filing any APD-related cases.
If anybody who attempted to do real harm to the community, gets an opportunity to have their case dropped, that's on the hands of these officers.
Antioch Mayor Pro Tem says the latest reports have been shocking to read and is prepared to support a request from the mayor to bring a racial equity audit in the police department. That request will be heard Tuesday during a special city council meeting.
I've been getting a lot of calls, and a lot of people would just like to see every officer named and everybody in leadership who was aware leave the department immediately.
What are you doing around these cars?
Walking to mine.
Whose car?
Mine.
ID.
I'm a deputy U.S. Marshal. My credentials are in the inside pocket of this jacket.
Anybody can say they're federal.
That's why you check it.
Step away from the vehicle.
All right.
Turn around.
On what basis?
Suspicious activity. Walking to my own car.
And so you see 45 officers, 16 of them were in leadership, embroiled in multiple text exchanges, violence against Black people, all sorts of debauchery, almost an entire police department. Just take a look at some of these texts verbatim. From the district attorney's office, Officer Rombo texts APD Officer Adams, "Focused on twos too long for the wire." Officer Rombo refers to twos, piece of S or turds. He was calling people twos, Black people, throughout his text thread as a reference to African-American suspects. So he was calling African-American suspects twos as in number 2. Officer Adams to Officer Rombo in his Midtown blank hang out with a bunch of twos in the apartments on Crestview. Officer Rombo to a private citizen, "I'm out here talking to water buffalo," reference to large African-American women. Rombo to a private citizen, "We just ran down a monkey at Sycamore." Officer Rombo sends a photograph of 3 gorillas to Officer Milner. Now it gets worse. Just wait. Officer Rombo, 40 deployment. And Effer got his ASS whooped. At 9:09, nice babe, another one for the mantle. Now that's a female officer who they're protecting. Officer Rombo texts murder suspect in custody, and the a-hole made me run. Good thing you fast, honey. He was way faster than us. We chased him through backyard. LOL, still got him, so not fast enough. We managed to set up a perimeter, and he got his ASS whooped in the backyard, and I field goal kicked his head. I thought that was a no-no. Officer Rombo texts, "No, we can do that, just no chokes. I tried to knock him unconscious, and he got muzzle thumped 6 times before he gave us his hands." Glad you have fun, babe. They're calling this fun. Here he goes again. The fat dude in the minivan and the fat black BF, black female, on the balcony belonged to that apartment. I'll go grab the plate to the minivan. I pulled out into the Los Medanos lot. The fat Fs were IFing me. So many black people. Bro, they all look the same. Tell me about it. And I feel like I'm at the zoo. They're getting high screen and swarming to it like Hennessy. Now, these are police officers. Here's some more from the indictment. Officers celebrated the violent targeting of black community members. We just ran down a monkey. I'm only stopping them because they black. I'll bury that N-word in my fields. I can't wait to 40 all of them. 40 means shooting them with a 40 cal. Furthermore, officers admitted to serious acts of lying and falsification. We'll just say he refused to comply. I sometimes just say people gave me a full confession when they didn't. Lying on suspects or black people. And there's way more than that.
Your life shall hang in doubt before you. Night and day you shall be in dread and have no assurance of your life.
In the case in the matter of murder, you are deemed innocent. You are free to leave.
Told you. It's like taking candy from a baby.
You gotta be kidding me.
On 7/2/20, 9:55 a.m., Officer Rodriguez sent Officer Prieto a text. I don't know if I can do the drug recognition evaluation because he's knocked out now. Prieto responds, no, we'll just say he refused to comply and take the blood. Shit ain't going anywhere. If anything, he'll get hit for the 28.4, which is evading an officer by driving in the opposite direction. 9:56 a.m., Officer Rodriguez responds, okay, that's cool then. What's the case number again? Officer Prieto responds, 5516. At approximately 3:24, Rodriguez texts Officer Prieto, oh, gotcha. Yeah, see how all of that turns out. I'm over painting the streets. 3:24, Officer Prieto responds, I'm like, where's that black B with the paint cans so she can F it up? Oh, I know. She did it again as soon as she got out of jail. 3:26, Prieto texts, yeah, I saw that. She was like, I'm going to do the drive-bys instead. Rodriguez texts, yeah, Izzy showed me it and we were laughing yesterday. I'm like, good for her. Prieto responds, shit like this don't get these Black Lives Matter people talking, but they be the first to try to defund the police. Now, in that exchange, once again, the officers admittingly lying about reports. He's knocked out now, so I can't get the blood. So just take it anyway, and we'll say he refused, and then we'll hit him with driving down the wrong way. This is how these officers operate. Not just in this department, but in departments the nation over.
Why are we here? We were the good guys!
I don't know. Then I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, lest you take part in her sins, lest you share in her plagues.
Shalom, 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 family. Shalemi. Let me timestamp this. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, 2026. And I'm not going to try to hold you too long because you've been through a long video as is, right? But you see what the deal is, you know. People say one thing and do another. They say that they're not racist, but then they show you that they are, you know. This thing about reparations, anyone that's watched any of my lessons, any of my videos, understand how I feel about reparations, right? I feel as though, you know, leave that up to the Most High, big guy upstairs. He'll take care of it for us. You know, I don't think that they could redeem us for the murder that they've done to our family members over the last 400 years just in this country, the United States of America, right? And everything else, you know. I mean,
money is not enough. And the Most High is going to make sure that we receive more than just money, monetary fees. And I went through this in my past videos. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go back and look at my other lessons. But the simple fact that they are just still denying us, what is rightfully ours. And I would say that money would just be a down payment, And at this point, I'll make it on my own. I don't want their money. You know what I mean? That's blood money right there. You can't pay me for what you've done to my ancestors and what you're still doing to me and my family. Okay? So it's crazy that you're saying, well, we won't give it to you, we won't give it to you. There's some of us that don't want you to give it to us because we're going to take things from you. As the Public Enemy album back in the day titled Favorite Black Planet, that's what you're going to get, because we're going to control the whole entire planet. All right? And as the Bible say, those who killed by the sword, really it means murdered by the sword, shall be killed by the sword. Those who take into captivity shall go into captivity. And all this stuff about, not fleeing, this is why you can't listen to, some people saying that they're, active Israelites or Israelites. And then they'll go along with the FBA thing. When the man that invented that phrase FBA says that, oh no, we're not Israelites, we're FBA, and Israelites is just a religion. So you got to choose. Are you FBA, or are you an active Israelite? Are you an Israelite? Okay? Because he's not with us. He's against the Bible. He's like the Bible was just, fictional, things as such, So, he's not with, and because of that, he doesn't believe that we should flee Babylon the Great. And I hear even other people that believe in the Bible say that, oh, Babylon the Great is a spiritual place, means that you should get away from sin. No, it's a physical place. This is why they say, it said in the Bible, stated in the Bible, Babylon the Great shall fall, and the great city has fallen, and all that stuff like that. It doesn't mean that sin has fallen. It means that this specific physical place has fallen. Okay? So I've heard some people say, even some people that are active Israelites say that, oh, how you going to move all these people out of America or all the rest of these places that we've been taken into captivity because of the transatlantic slave trade? We're not supposed to. Okay? I mean, and then other ones, oh, Yahweh Shah is going to come and do this for us and all that. But it also says that Yah is going to make us a safe place for us in the wilderness. And he always used man to do this. Okay? But to answer that first question, how you going to, take all of these black people, black folks from all these different countries that scattered because of the transatlantic slave trade? Well, it's only a remnant. And if you don't believe that a remnant can be taken, then you limit the omnipotent being called the Most High. You don't have real faith. Okay? So I'm under this understanding that all of us are not going to leave anyway, because it says that he's going to gather Judah from all four corners of the earth. But I think that it would be wise of us to take heed to what the Bible says when it says to flee Babylon the Great, and for us to get out of here and go into the wilderness, which we can build up and make it comfortable for ourselves. All right? Now, this other thing about these police, the little recordings that I put up is a lot of them online. That's just a few, and there's a lot of them where they're talking about, murdering, lynching us Israelite people, and these are just the ones that got caught on record, on audio recordings. But this is the mind state, I would say, of most of the police. I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm not going to say every single one, but most of them. And you never really hear anything about any real whistleblowers. Every blue moon, once in a while, you might hear it. But that's more of a thing that's like Bigfoot. People claim they've seen them, but hey, there's not really any whistleblowers. So what does that say to you? Okay? A lot of times these police are getting caught by accident. All right. And, you know, like I said, I'm not going to hold you too long. I'm not going to hold you too long. But I'll say this here. You know, if you know, been all the way up to this point of the video, if you watch it all the way up to this point of the video, you can if you want. You don't have to. It's not a necessity, but you can just type in true to the game. You know, that's kind of let me know that you enjoy my content. And please like and share. All right. And you know, with that being said, you know, the video speaks for itself. You know, you have a head on your shoulders. If you watch the video to this point, then you're probably a pretty knowledgeable person already, and you love, you know, picking up more knowledge, and this is just something that you can add to your repertoire, right? So anyway, I'm gonna close this out by saying much love and respect to the converts, and much love and respect to the true active Israelites. These are the Israelites that are Israelites by nationality, by DNA. And all praise and glory to the Most High Yah. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shalom, family.